Welcome everyone to another episode of Wildlife Photo Chat Video Edition. Hopefully this isn't horribly annoying, the intro. If it is, then, just fast forward it or don't watch, whatever. Welcome everyone. We got this photo from Hawaii, something a little different.
Yeah, it is different.
I shot this on our last trip there in April. Yeah, something like that. Of this Laysan Albatross flying over the amazing scenery of Hawaii there. And in trying to do something different, I brought my Lensbaby sort of tilt shifty lens, yeah. And so manual focus lens, it's the aperture I think is 3.5 when I shoot it wide open like this, which gives it gives the most depth effect. It makes it the hardest to get the bird in focus, of course.
Make it nice and easy for you.
Yeah, it's definitely the most challenging, but without it, if I close down the aperture, this sort of fall off right here. So seeing this band in focus, the fall off to here, these start becoming much more sharp.
Okay. So
even when I have it tilted all the way. And so to me, if I'm going to use this lens, I want the effect to be kind of in your face obvious. And so it just always makes sense for me for the most part, to shoot it wide open. So it's a manual focus lens, manual aperture ring, all that stuff. And then you get to, for anybody not familiar, you get to basically take this lens, and I should have actually grabbed it so I could show you guys, and maybe I'll do that really quick. All right, we did get it. So you can actually take this lens and then sort of, bend the focal plane around. So you can go just vertical, up and down with it. You can actually go kind of sideways with it, or at any angle, basically. And so that's what I do. I kind of set it at sort of a 45-degree angle for a shot like this. And then you get a diagonal focal plane through the image. And so everything within that sort of diagonal focal plane will be in focus. And so when we look at the image here, you can see everything is in focus in sort of this diagonal plane right there. And it's tough. Like, this one is actually pretty darn good. I got most of the bird in focus. You can see his feet are starting to get out of focus there a little bit because it's starting to fall into that, that mist section there. But the clouds over here are already starting to be out of focus. But the cool thing about it to me also is way back there, everything, it doesn't matter how close or far away it is. When you throw that focal plane that way, it's all going to be in focus. So that's how it all works. Now we get to hear Emily's thoughts.
Yeah, so I think it is a very unique way to show the scene. And because I guess what I'm trying to say is, in like telephoto shots, everything pretty much gets blurred, right? Outside of your subject. So using a lens like this can help you to see different elements of the scene that you might want to highlight. Mm-hmm. So I think you chose a nice focusing there. Yep. Of those mountains that are in the background and the bird. And then the rest of the image just kind of falling into that dreamy kind of feel, that like out of focus dreamy thing, feeling. I'm very good at articulating what I'm trying to say here. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it gives it a nice effect there. And I appreciate the difficulty of shooting with something like that, Yep. And the challenge that comes along with it. But I think it really does create like a very unique kind of image.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the goal. And it's the kind of thing where if I shot this, so it's a 35 millimeter, if I didn't say that. If I shot this image 35 millimeter, focused on this bird, basically everything under here at the same distance away is going to all be in focus. So there's going to be a lot of in focus stuff here. And potentially that's probably going to be in focus unless I had a really shallow depth of field lens, but probably even shooting at, I think, like I said, 3.5 on this lens, or even a 2.8 lens. At this distance, at 35 millimeter, probably almost the entire scene is going to be in focus.
In focus, yeah, which then nothing really stands out.
That's the challenge then, right? And so with this lens, what's really cool is you get to sort of decide the pieces or parts of the image that you want in focus, Like I could have made a narrow band of in focus vertical on the right hand side there.
Right.
And then have everything under here and just the bird straight in focus. And then this entire side could be out of focus. Or I could go just the top half in focus and make like a horizontal band up at the top half. And then everything down here is out of focus. But these mountains to me were one of the most striking things out there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Even though they're far away,
with
your eyes when you're there, you're like, wow, look at those out there. They just look amazing. And so, and I also love this vegetation in the foreground. It was really, really pretty. And so I didn't want to go with just a vertical strip there though, because, you know, compositionally, like this hillside here kind of became dominant. If I wanted these mountains in focus, I would have had to have the bird here flying this way. Then I would have needed, like they were always flying that way. That's the one thing, right? They almost never flew the other way because of the winds. So then I would have had to have a lot of this kind of dominant hill in focus there, or even if it was out of focus, it just would have been a lot, you know?
Too dominant in the image.
I think it would have been. Because this I wasn't relying on really good light or amazing sky at this point. It was a little bit stronger sun.
You do have the clouds, which give it an interest to, you know, a little
the sun's
bit more.
Pretty strong at that point. It wasn't real low in the sky. So I was just kind of relying on, you know, just using that diagonal thing to sort of get the bird in focus up here by itself, and then just have these little bits in focus down there.
No, it definitely gives it a very unique kind of feel to have that kind of slice of focus.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing that I'm never sort of I'm not manually racking focus as the subject's coming through there, trying to like get it to figure out, because I'm basically dialing in the angle that I want to get this kind of other part of the image that I want in focus. And then because everything from front to back in that focal plane is in focus, I actually take the focus point and put it up where I want the subject to be.
And then you wait?
And then I just put that point on the subject.
Okay.
So I know that focus point, anything under that focus point, I move a single focus point up into this area. And I know as long as I have the bird under that, it's going to be in focus.
Okay.
Because it works from all the way to me to infinite within that slice, you know? So that's how I know out in open space what's actually going to be in focus. And it's not perfect, because I think sometimes how you like sort of tip your perspective, it kind of throws it off a little bit, but it's the one technique I've figured out that's worked the best for shooting these birds in flight and trying to get them even remotely in focus. And and there's no way to test it up in the sky, so I'll actually take that focus point, put it down on a particular object, then move the focus until whatever's under my dot is in focus, and then I just kind of like then start to use that. So basically he flies through and all I'm doing is watching my dot and putting that on him.
To make sure,
and hoping that I'm going to get everything else that I want in focus there. And you know, you shoot a burst as it comes through. But it's a weird way to shoot for sure. It's very different, you know?
And like one could argue that you could try and create similar effects in post.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I could just
like blur
take a gradient
techniques or that sort of thing. But it doesn't have as much fun to it, does it?
No, it doesn't. And it never really looks exactly the same to me. And it also requires, like, if you really wanted everything from front to back sharp with a wider lens, you'd have to close down the aperture, which means for you know, something in flight, like if I wanted this and a closed down aperture, my ISO is going to start creeping up. There's probably plenty of light at this point, but if there's a little bit lower light, that you start getting into that problem of your ISO is going to be too high for the shutter speed you need with a closed down aperture. And this I just get to shoot wide open. So, and I personally love doing this stuff in camera. So
I know you do.
They're straight out of camera. I didn't even change the crop.
Oh,
I didn't
look at
move a damn thing. Yeah, all I did was just brighten the scene up. I kind of shot them, you know, a little bit dark. It's definitely a tad underexposed. But I was exposing for the white, and it was at ISO 64, so close enough.
I think it's a nice edit.
That's all I did.
Anything you would have done differently? Thinking about it now?
I don't know. I mean, I still really like that he's the only thing kind of in focus up there. I mean, these clouds are a little bit, but they're so soft anyway, it doesn't really matter. No, I don't know. I think I'm happy with where it's at. How about you? Do you see anything different?
No, I mean, I have no what's the word, experience outside of like trying to shoot a waterfall with that lens.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I can't really like picture shooting with it.
Yeah.
And succeeding.
Yeah.
But I think it works the way that you did it, and maybe even have some more opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, I'd like him just in the blue space without intersecting like that little bit of cloud, but that's
like
just where the bird flew. You know, it's not much in my control. Or maybe I did even have a shot where he was coming into that spot, but then the slice of focus down here was probably hitting like this, which wasn't as ideal as that,
right?
You know, so maybe that's part of why I chose it as well. I don't remember what I had before and after this particular frame, but he gave a good wing position. You know, so the whole underside of him is lit. You know, I know this is just a big shadowed wing, but nothing you can do about that with this kind of lighting. You know, unless he did a full sideways kind of bank in front of us, but I wouldn't really expect that. So yeah, it's fun. I definitely will bring it back again next year also because it's, you know, so tiny and lightweight. It's like a no-brainer to just kind of toss it in a bag and bring it out and play with it when the scenes, the kind of opportunities arise.
Present themselves.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but anybody that's watching, I will say, little shameless plug right here. I do have some openings for a second group to join me this year in Hawaii to photograph these birds in this location. So if you are watching and you're interested, definitely get in touch and let me know. We can talk about getting you to join me out there. So that'll be fun.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the first dates already sold out. So the second set of dates still have some openings. So let me know. And thanks everybody for watching these. I hope you guys enjoy it. And like we've said before, if you have a photo you want to see, or one of our photos that you want to see us do this with, just let us know in the comments and we'll be sure to try and make that happen.